Good afternoon, Bay Nation. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Bay. I'm your host, Mike Williams, and today we're going over the waiver wire for week 16. And if you're watching this, you're either one of my parents, hi mom, hi dad, or you made it to the second round of your playoffs, or the championship round if your league was foolish enough to start a week early. Do you need a quarterback to start this week? Don't worry, I got you. Brock Purdy. I think that this is a solid matchup going up against Washington. Washington has been playing kind of high. I think this could be a back and forth affair, and Brock Purdy could be solid. Not a lot of options out there. Trevor Lawrence has been taken by most teams. Jared Goff is most likely not out there. Pickings are slim. I never thought I'd say this, but Sam Darnold? In fantasy football, sometimes you gotta follow the matchups, and Sam Darnold is going up against the Detroit Lions. I think that the Lions are gonna put up some points. Sam Darnold should have to keep up. I think it could work out for you. Not excited, but slim pickings out here. Do you need a running back to start this week? Don't worry, I got you. Tyler Algier. He had 17 carries last week and a touchdown, led to 22 fantasy points. Goes up against Baltimore, not my favorite matchup, but I do think he's startable this week. Next up, Deion Jackson. And this one is a roll of the dice. Do you feel lucky? Matchup isn't bad going up against the Chargers, but he fumbled last week and he lost a lot of the touches to Zach Moss. I prefer Deion Jackson, but if you can't get him, I think Zach Moss is a solid substitute. They both could be the lead running back. Not quite sure which one's going to be the lead. Neither's role are cemented, but Deion Jackson is solid at catching the ball. I think he might do work. And some running backs you should keep your eye on. Gus Edwards has a solid matchup against Atlanta, but makes me nervous because of J.K. Dobbins being back, Chuba Hubbard, and keep an eye out for Khalil Herbert. Not really confident in starting him, but if he plays well this week, could help you out in your championship. Are you searching for a waiver wire wide receiver? Don't worry, I got you. Jahan Dotson, playing pretty well these last couple weeks. 16 fantasy points, 21 fantasy points, over 100 yards last week. You could do worse on the wire. Unfortunately, he's going up against San Francisco, which is not a good play, but desperate times calls for desperate measures. If you're desperate, I think he's going to get targeted. Chris Moore didn't have the production you may have liked last week, but he did have the targets. 9 targets last game, 11 targets the week before. You're going to have to watch out for Brandon Cooks to see if he plays, but I do think that Chris Moore could be a sneaky start. Going up against Tennessee, who, before last week, allowed a lot of receiving yards. You might want to check him out. And if you need a flyer, Elijah Moore's been getting some targets, and I think that Jacksonville matchup's going to be pretty back and forth. KJ Osborne's been getting some work. Russell Gage got 12 targets last week and 2 touchdowns. And with Tyler Lockett going down, Marquise Goodwin could be pretty solid. Seattle's going to have to throw against Kansas City. Are you desperate for a tight end? Landscape is slim, but I think I might be able to help you out. This one's kind of gross, but Taysom Hill didn't have any targets last week, but he had 7 rushes for 30 yards and a touchdown. That's kind of what you can expect from him. He also may be used as a passer. This one's more of a roll of the dice. For more of a safe floor, Evan Ingram I think could be a solid add. He's had double-digit fantasy points in the last 3 weeks. That's pretty good for a tight end. Juwan Johnson. He's had 7 touchdowns in the last 7 games. That's impressive. You could definitely do worse than him. I also like Noah Fant and Chig Okonkwo. Taysom Hill being out makes me a little nervous, but they have to throw it to somebody, right? Are you in need of a defense? Don't worry, I got you. The Tennessee Titans. They're going up against Houston, and yes, I know Houston has been playing better recently, but they're still not a good team. You can start Tennessee against Houston. Plus, Derrick Henry is going to run all over them. That should run out the clock. Cincinnati versus New England. New England doesn't put up a lot of points, and the Bengals defense has been pretty solid. You can also play the Rams versus Denver, Browns versus New Orleans, and on the other side of that matchup, New Orleans versus the Browns. I think they're both solid. It should be low scoring. So that's going to do it for my Waiver Wire Wednesday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. If you have any questions, hit me up. Good luck on the wire this week. You got this. Peace.